Hello again everybody and welcome back to another episode of Coding with Kenny G. And now we are at episode 30. Bada beam bada boom. We made quite a lot of stuff here actually. So this episode, let's try to reset the game. Which means that we want to restart the game with the formation that is in the formation spawner here. And the way that we are going to do this is fairly fast. So let's go ahead. Okay, game controller. The game controller is gonna have probably a public function. Yeah. We're gonna allow something else to call the game controller dot instance, so the instance of this game controller, and ask it to reset the game. Either through a public function or the game controller could listen to an event. The problem is that we might have different things that want to restart the game. For example, a button, or in our case, maybe you want a button click, like you could press R and then reset the entire game. Anyway, so for now, in our game controller in a public functions region, we are going to create a new function. Call it public void restart current game. So inside that function we want to do a few things. We want to destroy all current actors, set all board positions to null, though I don't think we need to do that because when we are destroying all the current actors, the board positions are null. But let's just try and see if something breaks. Destroy all current actors, new the current actors list, and then I think that actually the game controller is gonna have an event which is gonna be on restart game, and the only thing that we are going to send in there is the board. I think so. We're just gonna start there, see if I do something dumb a little bit later. So finally invoke on restart game event. So we have to we can't do a for each when we want to destroy game objects, so we're gonna do a good old for loop. For int I equals 0, I is less than current active actors dot count and I plus plus. Then destroy these game objects, so current active actors at position I dot game object. So all of them are destroyed. Then say that the current active actors list is equal to new list of actor. Then set all board positions to null. Yeah, we'll see if we can't ignore that. then we're gonna invoke this on restart game event. So up here in our events section, we are going to add a new public static event system.action. We're gonna send in the board, so tile to the array as payload, and say on restart current game. Okay, on restart current game, and then down here in our restart current game function, we're gonna invoke the event on restart current game. Invoke, and then we have to send in the board, so we're gonna say board.instance.getBoard. When we are restarting the current game, we take the stance that we are restarting with all the initial variables. So now this function has been made, it still needs to be called, but in our formation spawner, the guy that actually spawns the items, or rather the actors, onto the board, this guy is going to listen to it. So we create our own little event handler called private void on restart current game. Then we take in the tile to the array and board. You might notice that it's identical to this function, but and it would work to actually call this, because we are also going to do this function, but I don't know if I need to add more parameters to this on restart current game yet, because I need to see. So we're gonna have separate functions. Also, it's a little bit confusing to listen to an event and say let the actual function listener be on board created, which is just a little bit ambiguous. But anyway, we're gonna say game controller dot on restart current game plus equals on restart current game, and deassign this as well. And what is gonna happen here is that on restart current game is gonna call spawn formation. Then we're gonna send in the formation to spawn, which is our public variable here. So we're gonna just do the same formation as was assigned previously, and this guy does everything for us. So he's instantiating the formation, or instantiating the actors onto the board and assigning them to a board position, or rather the tile, setting the occupied actor of that tile. And after that it's going to call on actors instantiated. And remember, in a game controller, that is where we receive we are listening still to that event on actors instantiated. So this event handler will still work, and then everything. Then we're gonna call the start game based on if we are overriding something on our debug. If you remember a few episodes ago, okay. So basically, we are just doing a little bit of a rotunda, but that should be it actually. And this guy, we have in our pop-up message, we added a button called Restart Game. This is okay. We can in this case let the on-click event of this restart game button drag in the game controller and say game controller dot restart current game. it's not the best way. Ideally, the thing is that these items are now very coupled, but in this case it's only one reference, so it's this particular UI element's reference, only one, and the game controller kind of have to be in the scene in order for everything to work. So it's okay enough, at least for now, in a sort of still prototype stage, right? Okay, what we can do is to make our king here win. So we get our pop-up message panel, and then we can press restart game, and then boom, everybody was placed back into position, which is correct. There is a few things that would be nice. Yeah, I'm gonna do this instead. So in our pop-up message layout panel, we have a game UI message controller. We're gonna have in that script a public void, and this is what I call an inspector script. So I'm just gonna write inspector in capital letters and then the name of the function. So on restart game button clicked. So we have that ready to go. And one more thing. We want to tell the game controller that, camera controller, that no input is allowed on the board when this pop-up message panel is active. So we're gonna tell the camera controller that. So if we say camera controller dot instance dot set its tile selection enable to false, and once we have actually restarted the game, maybe even better, let it just be the game controller's kind of job, because once we start the game, let's see, I'm just trying to remember if I let we have to not allow input on the board until the game is actually started, which kind of makes sense actually. Yeah, we can do that. So in game controller, when we have instantiated the actors and we actually start the game, I just need to check real quick if I just did it through an event. So I'm going to check camera controller. Now it's just onboard created there. Okay, cool. So we have to enable input on the camera at some point. Either we could do it right here in this function, the inspector on restart game button clicked, or better, we do it in the start game function. Oh yeah, the turn controller allows input on tiles. Okay. Yeah. For now, I'm actually just gonna keep this the way it is and see if I had some structure going on already for handling this question. Okay, after we have clicked here in the game UI message controller, we're gonna call game controller dot instance dot restart current game from there instead, and we're gonna set this pop-up message panel dot set active to false. There we go. So our message panel will be removed. And then we restart the game a little bit more cleanly. So I'm just going to have to test to see if the input is working or not. When we restart the game. So move this guy here and then just going to win with the defenders here. No tile selection enabled, as you can see. When I move the mouse, none of these tiles are able to be clicked on, which is intent. Then I press restart game, and this guy did not manage to reset. See here. Oh. Did that not work? Interesting. Just check here real quick. So, wow. Okay. I just need to see what's going on here. Pop-up message panel dot set active to false. Oh, I'm dumb. There we go. I forgot to reassign the function inside the onClick event from game controller to pop-up message layout panel, and then from there inspector function on restart game button clicked. Sorry about that. Let's win with the defenders. Press restart game. And then my input is not enabled. So I'm gonna enable the input in the game controller, because it's kind of better that the game controller allows input again. So we can say turn controller change turn, set the camera controller dot instance dot set is tile selection enabled to true in the start game function. Okay, let's give this a little try here. Could have probably made this testing a little bit faster. There we go. Restart game, and then it's the attacker's turn again as intended. Boom. Okay, cool. So that's a very quick way to do this, and it should also work if we change the formation to Copenhagen 11 by 11. Oh, we should have a little in-game menu. We can look at that. Okay, so we got restarting the game kind of working. We almost we're kind of close to getting a game loop going. Excuse me. Maybe a little bit of water. Okay. Yeah, we're close to having a game loop going, where we can start the game, win the game, lose the game, and ideally restart the game and never actually exit the application, which is starting to turn into an actual game here. So for now we're gonna leave it at that, and I'll see you in the next episode, where we are going to implement more win conditions to start to get this game kinda almost wrapped up sort of mechanically. So I'll see you in the next one.